Marc Guiu is going to make a move to Chelsea for a total of 6 million euros. Barcelona will be receiving that amount. There's nothing more to be said. Barcelona must move forward. The Barcelona fan base must also move forward. Marc Guiu could have easily have been part of the plans for Barcelona next season, but when you're 18 years old and you see that you're being offered triple the amount in terms of the salary, of course the player is going to be considering such a move, and I don't blame him. Money talks, and that is just the position that Barcelona is in. There is no reason for us to cause any drama, no reason for us to speak about whether potentially Barcelona are doing a good job with La Masia players or not. There is no reason for any of that. At the end of the day, Barcelona cannot lock down all youngsters. They have locked down players like Hector Fort, Cubarsí, Lamine Yamal, Fermin Lopez, Casado, but eventually one was going to fall. And so now, knowing that Barcelona have lost on a striker for the next season, Barcelona will now have to look for other strikers to reinforce the attack. And one of the players that we are going to be talking about is Ansu Fati, a player that does want to convince to Hansi that he can still provide value in the attack. So this is going to be a very interesting video. I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you guys are Barcelona fans, this is going to be the channel for you. This is where we do talk about everything regarding FC Barcelona. So if you are a Barcelona fan and you end up liking this video, please feel free to support me by subscribing to the channel and also liking this video. I would really appreciate it. So Tony Juan Martí had a few things to say about the situation of Marc Guiu, and this is what he stated, and I quote: Marc Guiu wanted guarantees from Barcelona around being in the first team. Barcelona told him how they won't be counting on him in the short run. Lewandowski and Ferran Torres being ahead of Marc Guiu did not even convince him. There's also the economic aspect. Chelsea's offer is significantly superior to that of Barcelona, who made an effort to renew Guiu but couldn't come close to the numbers of Chelsea. Marc Guiu and his entourage have always known that economically Barcelona couldn't match the offers from abroad, but they also hoped that the difference between proposals would be much smaller. Marc Guiu has not yet given his final and definitive green light to Chelsea. He still has to make his final decision. The players' camp suggests that there's still nothing decided and an imminent contact with Barcelona is also planned. At this time, Marc Guiu's decision is to leave Barcelona. If he doesn't change his mind and reconsiders after the final contacts with the club today, he'll give his definitive yes to Chelsea. So as you can see here, there are some reasons why Marc Guiu is leaving, because of sporting reasons and also because of economical reasons. But to be very honest, I'm not fully convinced when I hear that Marc Guiu is leaving because sportingly it's just not the right fit for him. Because if you look at the squad and you look at our attackers, Lewandowski is going to be leaving soon. Most likely he will be here for one more season. Ferran Torres, another player that is supposedly ahead of Marc Guiu. Ferran Torres plays as a right winger, and we do not even know if Ferran Torres is going to be lasting no more than 2 more years. And then you look at Vitor Roque. Vitor Roque is an 18-year-old player, the exact same age of Marc Guiu, and Marc Guiu has an upper hand over Vitor Roque, and that is that he has been nurtured through La Masia. So if anything, if I was Guiu, I would feel like I have the upper hand over Vitor Roque, regardless whether Barcelona paid 30 million euros or not. I would feel like I can become the better player, and that is where the competition should have been, which was between Vitor Roque and Marc Guiu. It was the perfect game plan. Now many might say that Marc Guiu wanted minutes now because time is not on his hands. Look, he's 18 years old, and I understand, right? I understand why many Barcelona academy players or many Barcelona fans are looking at this and saying, why hasn't Barcelona given more prominence to Marc Guiu? I understand why people are thinking in that way. Look at how Cubarsí, Lamine Yamal, Hector Fort, Gavi, Balde all came into the first team before even turning 17 years old. I understand that there is some sort of spoiledness within Barcelona right now. We want to see everybody come in at the age of 16 to 17 years old, but it's not going to be happening all the time. We need to have context on what the first team does need. When Cubarsí came in, it is because we needed a center back. When Lamine Yamal came in, it is because we lost Dembélé. We had no right winger. When Hector Fort came in, it was simply because we needed a backup to Joao Cancelo. It's all about the context. If Marc Guiu read this whole thing well, he would have easily have seen that he would gain a spot with Barcelona for sure in about a year and a half. It's not too long from today. He's still only going to be 19 years old or 20 years old. Look at Marc Casado, by the way. Marc Casado just renewed with Barcelona, and he's very enthusiastic about next season, and he knows that he's going to have to compete against many central defensive midfielders, potentially Kimmich, potentially Mikel Merino, potentially Frankie, potentially Gavi. But Casado's like, it's fine, I'm okay, I feel enthusiastic, I have something to give at Barcelona, I understand that I'm young, and he's also going to understand that his minutes are going to be reduced compared to what he did at Barca Athletic. And to him, it just does not matter because he has something that many players don't have, and that is time on his side. And he's 20 years old, by the way. He'll be turning 21 years old in September, and he still has time on his hands. And Marc Guiu is 18, so how does he not have time on his hands? To me, it just seems like he simply wants to go to Chelsea because of the money, and that is, again, it is okay. I'm not here to bash on the player. If you are looking for the bag, tag, that is fine. Not many players can get to the professional level and get offered 15 to 20 million euros a season. Not many players can do that. And you want to feed your families, you care about being financially secured for the next 25 to 30 years. I completely understand. Barcelona now have to move forward. We have to strategize. How are we going to go into the next season losing on a striker? And that is where I do want to bring in a player like Ansu Fati, because one of the questions that I have been wanting to ask you guys is this: should Ansu Fati be a number 9 option for Hansi Flick and not necessarily play as a left winger if Ansu Fati eventually convinces Hansi in the first place? It says here, according to 21 Marty, that Ansu Fati wants to stay and feels he deserves an opportunity. Although the club prefers to loan him out, Fati will try to convince Hansi Flick in the preseason. If the player ends up staying, investing in a new forward would become almost impossible. And so look, to me, Ansu Fati is a finisher. He's a goal scoring machine when he is in his prime self. If you look at Ansu Fati and the type of goals he has scored with Barcelona between the ages of 16 years old all the way up until now, he scores goals as if he was a center forward, and he works within the realms of the center forward area. Yes, we have seen him in the flanks making those bursting runs, but every time we saw him in the middle, he was extremely effective. Look at the goal that he scored 3 years ago when he came back from that long-term injury, running down the middle. I believe it was against Real Betis. I could be wrong. And then there was another goal where Ansu Fati scored against Inter Milan back in 2019, where he scored down the middle. He has the center forward tendencies. And so now that he lost some speed, right, because of all of the injuries that he has received, I do believe that the center forward position would be the best solution for him, because one of the things that he did not lose is his finishing. And if you combine that with a little more boost in his mentality and belief that he can become better and become a number 9 for Barcelona, we're going to be seeing the old Ansu Fati return. Like, really think about that, because if you go back to Ansu Fati prime, all of his goals were coming down to him reading his environment inside the box and losing his marker. Ansu Fati is a master at that. Fati also spoke about his return to Barcelona after the loan spell at Brighton, and this is what he stated back on June 2nd. My plan is clear. I want to succeed at Barcelona, and I hope that he does. I hope that Ansu Fati revives his career. I know that it does seem like the end for the player and that Barcelona are going to be moving on, but the only person that can change his future is going to be himself. He's going to have to convince Hansi, because it is not going to be easy. Can you overcome your mental obstacles? Can you outshine players like Vitor, Roque, and Lewandowski in the preseason? I do think that if he does well, there is an opportunity where Hansi Flick can field a front three of Nico Williams on the left, Ansu Fati as the number 9, and Lamine Yamal on the right wing. You have these 3 players in their primes. You have a very dangerous attack. You have a Spain attack, as a matter of fact. Many have said that Ansu Fati is a very similar player to someone like Nico Williams or Lamine Yamal. I don't think so. I think that when you compare Yamal and Ansu Fati especially, you're like comparing a mango to a banana. They are just very different. Ansu Fati is a clinical striker, a finisher, and he showed that as soon as he turned 16 years old. Lamine Yamal is a dribbler, a creator, somebody who likes to look for the final pass, somebody who can take on 2 or 3 players within a span of like 1 second after like one move. Lamine Yamal is that guy. Ansu Fati cannot really do that. His specialty is inside the box and scoring goals. Lamine Yamal will get there eventually. He's not like a goal scoring machine, but he is definitely a chance creating machine. So you have many different profiles in the attack. Lamine Yamal as your creator, Ansu Fati as your finisher, Nico Williams as your dribbler who adds more pace to the attack. It would be amazing to see, and their chemistry would be phenomenal. And then you add in Pedri right behind those 3 players as a 10. I can see that working out. But Ansu Fati, first things first, right? He has to do his very best to convince Hansi. And then once you get that opportunity to stay at Barcelona for the season, the next step is going to be, when you are given those chances to play your 15 to 20 minutes through La Liga, can you score goals? Because that is how you're going to slowly work up to where you do want to be in your career at Barcelona. It's not going to be easy. It is going to be taking some time. Ansu Fati has not been at his best self for the past 2 or 3 years, and so a lot of work has to be done. Many have claimed that Barcelona should just move on from Ansu and just sell the player to gain some funds in order for us to sign new players. I don't think that selling him right now is the smartest idea. He has a 25 million euro market value, which is like the lowest since he got here back in 2019. He's still 21 years old, very young. His contract does not end until 2027, and I just think that if Ansu Fati can have one good season under his belt, whether that's through a loan or at Barcelona, Barcelona can eventually sell him in the summer of 2025 for a much better amount. 25 million euros is nothing. Ansu Fati just came back from a horrible loan spell at Brighton. Why sell him now at his lowest market value? So there's 2 avenues here. It is for Ansu Fati to stay at Barcelona, do well in the preseason, right? The most optimistic type of view. Or if he does not make it, and for whatever reason Hansi Flick just says, I'm okay, I don't want Ansu, you know, he's a great player, but I am okay with Vitor, Roque, and Lewandowski, then yes, of course, loan him out out, but never sell him, especially this summer. Loan him out to a team like either Villarreal, Girona, or Sevilla. I would much rather prefer Sevilla, mainly because Garcia Pimienta is going to be coaching Sevilla. They're doing a rebuild at Sevilla. It's going to be a whole other different project, and I believe that Sevilla would love to have Ansu Fati, especially knowing that Pimienta knows Ansu. They have worked together before and have talked to one another before in La Masia. He would also get consistent game time show to FC Barcelona also that he can perform in La Liga and eventually maybe convince them in the future that he should make a final definitive return at the club. So that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.